Tell us a little bit about what the Campaign for Justice is.
The Campaign for Justice is a broad-based, bipartisan organization working to reform Michigan's broken public defense system. That's a system that provides attorneys for individuals who can't afford to hire one on their own, both adults and children. Campaign's membership spans the political spectrum. We have organizations from the legal professions, from organizations in treatment and community services, faith-based organizations, and individuals concerned about the quality of public defense in Michigan. We have a tremendous number of legal professionals. Over 50 organizations and nearly 1,500 individuals have signed up as volunteers to seek public defense reform in Michigan. For the last few decades, a series of reports have found that Michigan's public defense system is chronically and severely underfunded and is very poorly administered. We have 83 counties doing a patchwork job of administering the public defense system. For decades, reports have found that Michigan's public defense system is broken. It's poorly administered, and it is severely and chronically underfunded. It fails taxpayers because it's costly and inefficient. It fails communities that rely on it to keep their members safe. And it fails the individuals who have a constitutional right to effective defense when facing criminal or juvenile charges. People from across the state are coming together to seek legislative reform. There's two things that we're working for. The first is adequate state funding of the system, and secondly, a system that meets at least minimum national standards for an effective public defense system. We need everyone's help. This has to be a campaign in which average taxpayers, average citizens stand up. We need individuals to talk to their legislators, to speak out in their communities, to meet with organizations, and defend the constitutional right to an effective defense. It can happen to anyone, and we need your help to make the changes that are required to ensure that our state is complying with this basic constitutional mandate. Let's make sure our taxpayers' dollars are spent effectively on public defense, that our communities are safe from errors that lead to wrongful convictions, leaving the guilty to go free and the innocent locked up. And let's make sure that when a Michigan citizen, an adult or child, is in the courts, that their constitutional rights are protected. There is tremendous interest in the legislature. In fact, the House Judiciary Committee has named a subcommittee on indigent reform, and the campaign is working closely with experts nationally, at the state level, and legislators to make sure that we complete the reform that's so desperately needed in this state. The current system is both costly and inefficient. Michigan's at the bottom of the barrel of public defense systems. We're 44th in per capita spending on public defense. It wastes taxpayers' dollars on 83 duplicative systems, and every county is doing it differently. So we have a patchwork system of public defense. That means the quality of justice you have depends on which side of the county line you live on. We have no oversight or standards to ensure that attorneys are doing the job that individuals facing their day in court deserve under both the U.S. and the Michigan Constitution. Administered by counties rather than the state. Michigan Campaign for Justice is a bipartisan, non-profit organization seeking legislative reform of Michigan's public defense system. We're a broad-based organization that spans the political spectrum from liberal to conservative and includes a wide array of organizations and individuals dedicated to reforming Michigan's broken system. We very much need citizen involvement. This is a movement that requires the active participation of everyone in this state who cares about the Constitution and defending the rights of the accused. We need your help. You can join the campaign by contacting us through our website. giving us a call. You can speak out to your legislature, which is very important to say that you're concerned about the issue of public defense. We need individuals who'll talk to their churches, their local civic organizations, their civil rights organizations, or Rotary clubs. When you're restructuring government, you have to start with the basics, and the basics are constitutional rights. The right to counsel, the right to an effective defense, is one of the core foundations of our American democracy. We can't fund and operate a public defense system that fails Michigan citizens in this very fundamental way. Public defense is the system of providing attorneys for individuals facing criminal or juvenile proceedings who can't afford an attorney. It's a right that's provided by both the U.S. and the Michigan Constitution, and it means every individual, adult or child, has the right to have an attorney who's trained and competent and has the resources he or she needs to represent them effectively. This is an issue that will affect you and people you love and people you know for the rest of your life. If we don't fix this public defense system, individuals who are innocent will be convicted, will pay burgeoning corrections costs that will take away from the other things we need in this state, like investments in education that matter so much. Many of you are making great sacrifices to ensure that the democracy that we have in this state works. Without an effective public defense, that's a failure that you can't afford and we can't afford for Michigan's future. A lot of people think this issue really doesn't affect them, but think about it. It could be your mother, your father, your brother, your best friend. If they were pulled into court, charged with a crime, wouldn't you want the attorney there to represent them, to be adequately trained, to have access to investigators, to have the resources he or she needs to provide an effective and competent defense so that when the one you love is pulled into court, the issues of guilt and innocence are facts. They aren't just errors of admission. A lot of people think that this issue really doesn't affect them. But if someone you love, your mother, your father, your brother, your best friend, was pulled into court and facing criminal charges, wouldn't you want the lawyer at their side to be as effective as possible? And wouldn't you want a system that made sure that errors wouldn't be created that could land an innocent person in prison for years for crime he or she didn't commit? This is a right. You need to be part of the effort to fight for it, preserve it, and defend both your communities, your families, and yourself.